Hello folks and welcome back to the channel. Today we're at the circuit Spa. We're at the World Touring Car 800 and we're setting about the grind process again. We're on to race 4 of this series. We're aiming to take home 1.5 million credits for an hour's work. It's one of the best paying races as a single event. It's going to take you just over an hour depending on how on you finish the race. So on to the car we're going to use today. The car is the Peugeot 908 HDI Fap 10. It comes in at 799.91 pp on a target of 800 with racing hard tyres. We do have the wets and semis shod. They're available for the race. 490 brake horsepower. We have a fully customisable suspension, which is totally standard with the car. Fully customisable rear diff, which we've set to the Magic 555. Downforce has been tuned to suit the PP. So 1175 on the front and everything on the rear. Fully customisable ECU set to 100. As we can see there with the torque and the power band, we're changing somewhere in that middle rev range. Somewhere between 3,500 and maybe 6,000 RPM, where the torque tails off down to probably half of that, 99 kilogram per foot. The power restrictor is reduced to 70%. A fully customisable manual transmission set to 360. That reduced the PP. No nitrous, no turbocharger. We've just got the brake balance set and everything else is as standard. And by the way folks, never driven this car. No idea how it travels, how it handles. So just as we arrive at Spa, it's the 60-minute race. We're using the 24-hour layout. Let's just discuss a couple of things. I've had a couple of inquiries about cars we're using. I've had a lovely email from a gentleman called Igor. Thank you, Igor. I believe we agree, Igor, on everything about this race. There are better cars than the ones I've used. They are certainly going to come later in the process. I'm going to focus primarily on the GT1 prototypes, and as I mentioned in other videos, there's 8 of those cars to get through. Scamster, you as well have suggested this car. The 917 surely should come to this race as a perfect grinder. It's the car you use in S10. It's that one car that everybody loathes, but we will be using it, and that will be coming soon. We will also be bringing, as per other requests, the LM55. We'll be bringing the Bugatti VGT. We will be bringing, maybe, I want to primarily stick to the GRs, so we're going to use the historics. We will get through that, but if you do have requests, please chip in. I will get these 8 cars done first, and then we'll start on the requests. We'll get these cars done as a primary, and then I've got to find one for me to use myself. So let's not use them all up. So here we are. Let's get the settings out of the way. Car settings we've done. Assist will be traction control 1. Default, no, it will be weak ABS. And everything else will be off. Now we can always use the counter steer because we are grinding. I think probably for this car, we're going to put the counter steer on. There's no shame to using it. We're grinding, so it's got to be enjoyable. The whole point of this process is to make it fun, and we don't like being facing the wrong way, do we? Controller settings. We're on a controller steering sensitivity 5. This is a G29. Force feedback max torque 7. Force feedback sensitivity 7. And I don't think there's much more to say other than thank you very much for joining us. We're just going to set about the race. We'll talk about all sorts of stuff as we go around. And we'll find out whether this is a car that we want to grind with. Let's make a start. So first off, we'll find out what kind of fuel mileage it's going to give us. Ideally, the car is going to get us to the rain. Power feels very down, doesn't it? We're kind of trudging our way up to the back of the GR3 cars. We're on hard tyres, so cornering isn't the fastest, but we could have used a turbo. We didn't want to. We didn't want to reduce the power anymore in terms of ECU power. Turbo will normally give you more fuel miles anyway. target for today is 25 laps or more. We've got the brake balance all the way to the front, so we can commit to a deep dive into a corner if we need to. We know we've got the braking capability. ABS weak is going to help us also, but you have to brake earlier with ABS weak to get the full impact of the better braking. Little around the outside manoeuvre there, that worked well. 13.5 laps of fuel, so the fuel's going to take us all the way to the rain. See that boost there? This car is naturally turbocharged anyway. That boost at half a bar is just gonna give us that opportunity to get up through the pack. We're into 12th place now. We're not going to get round the outside of the Audi, but ooh, trying to get this thing to turn's a trick. It's not a particularly loud revving engine, this. I believe it's the diesel or hydrogen engine, isn't it? It's the HDI, is it? One of the two. Don't actually know. I know very little about the car. Maybe I should know more. Maybe I should come with some statistics and history and what it is and what makes it different. What I do know is it's rear-wheel drive, and it will power its way down the straight. 160. The gears are probably just a fraction too long at 360. The gears were way too short in one of the cars. Ooh. The Aston just had a bit of a slam about there, Mr. Mendoza. And Mr. Grady made his way past. It took us a little while to catch Mr. Grady. But we're up to 11th place. It's a long race, an hour. This race simulates the 24 hours, if you do know that, don't you? We're going to get night. We're going to go all the way through the night, and it's going to be wet. Somebody on the comments did say one day you will get a no-rain race. We will just move the weather map and let's see whether we've got something coming in. Zoom it all the way out so we get the biggest scope. We get about 100-mile range of notification, but don't forget this race is at 24 times speed. We get 24 hours in 1 hour. We're up to 6th place, chasing down Mr. Lopez, 17 seconds behind the leaders. We've done it again, we've dived a bit deep. Now this car might be a little bit trickier in the wet. So we've tried a couple of different tactics in a couple of races, and I'm doing these cold, folks. I'm not doing these with practice. I'm not setting these up to be anything more than they actually are. I'm trying to keep the playing field even on every car, so none of these setups are pre-configured. I'm not doing multiple races, multiple laps and picking the best one out. What you're getting here on this video, as every video, is a first time, first hit, first time completion. If it loses, you don't get to see it, but what you're getting to see is an honest opinion, an honest race, and a demonstration of what the car is like. Not totally Top Gear style, but, you know, with a little bit of a man chat as we go through. So if you are new to the channel, there are a fair few videos out there for you to go and watch, and my main aim is to really help you enjoy the game, find a better way to grind than just endless hours and hours and hours of slamming the same car around the same track. What we're trying to do is get you to enjoy the cars that come with the game, help you complete the game, earn the money to earn the credits. Excuse me. and eventually get to game completion. That is platinum trophy, own all the cars, just enjoy the game, get through it, complete it. Now I'm still not done, and I've been playing this for since launch. I got platinum sometime back in maybe June, July of this year. We progressed hard. My hardest thing was to do the 50 online races. Didn't really want to do those, but you have to do them. Here we go, up in 5th place now, 15 seconds behind leader. Probably going to pick up a penalty for that little excursion across the white line, but I think we might be okay. We might have got away with it. Up behind Mr. Portilla. He's going to move away. So fastest lap of the race is ours, a 2:15.245. It's not the quickest car. We've been down in the 2:13s, but we are on the hard tyres. We haven't got any rain on the rain radar yet. We're 7 minutes into the race. This is lap number 4. Just going to slide past Portilla now in his draft. 6th gear. He's just going to pull away from us. Look at that. We were so confident. Can we get him under brakes? Yeah, we can. He's going to come back at us. He is. He's going to give us a nudge. He wants to keep the room on the track. He's not going to get it around this corner. Oh, yes, we are. We're going to hit the green bollard. Oh, Mr. Portilla. That was a fairly even fight, wasn't it? You gave what you gave. You gave what you got, should I say. You bullied back. Oh well. 17, almost 18 seconds down on the leaders now. We'll get Mr. Portilla back. Gave him a love tap, just let him know we're here. We've got damage on the front wing, but he's coming back at us. We're going to block him out. There we go. Just managed to cut in front. Mr. Hizal next up. As the evening sunshine descends behind the hills and trees, start to get a feel that the night is coming in. I've opened my window up, so I started to feel the cool air come into the room. Try and give myself that full sim experience. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, you know what I mean. There's Mr. Hizal, we're just closing in. No fastest lap this time. We're 14, just under 15 seconds back from the leader, Mr. Fraga. I called him a leaguer, Mr. Frada. Doesn't work, does it? Our leader, Mr. Fraga, is out there chugging away. Hizal just went off like a rocket down that hill. See if we can catch him back. See if we can use his draft to pull us up the straight. We're probably a little bit too far back. We've taken 1.6, 1.8 seconds out of him down the straight. And half of that was because we committed to Eau Rouge. We have much bigger downforce than these GR3 cars, so we can corner that a little bit better. And if you want to go for the medium tyres, reduce your PP that little bit further, take some power out. You can go for the mediums and you can put a much quicker lap in, probably another 2.5 seconds quicker. But you'll have to offset the power against the downforce, so. But there are alternate setups, and please do make your suggestions. There's lots of great comments coming through about how you've changed the setup or you've tried a different car. I really appreciate those comments. They're really great. They won't influence the cars we choose, but no, yes, they will. They will. I'm joking. So there will be, I will take notice, I will listen, oh my word, and we will extend this field of GR1 cars The whole point though is that we do a custom race at the end using my setups. If you don't know what a custom race is and how to set one up, I've done a couple of videos already. If you want to search custom race, do so, but you can always wait for the end of this process and you can set your own custom race up, and you can set it up exactly the same way as I have, using the setups that you've used for each of the cars. And you can configure it however you see fit. So the idea is that we pick another car, one that we haven't used in the entire race, and we pitch it against those cars with the AI driving. And you might see some famous race drivers from, you know, history past. I might change the names to reflect on famous drivers, etc., or something maybe a little bit humorous. We'll have to see. So the evening really is drawing in. We can see a haze at the end of the straight there, just as we saw Mr. Beauvoir dive round that corner. Mr. Fraga and Mr. Beauvoir look to only be a second or so apart as we purple sector the first little bit. No rain on the radar just yet. We kind of expect it as it goes dark. I need to get these ground races done this week. We spent 20 million on the McLaren F1 road car. We need to get some more cars bought. So we need to get some cash back in the bank. 8 seconds now to Mr. Beauvoir. Got to keep an eye on Mr. Grady. He is going to go to the pits very soon on his soft tyres, I would suggest. Now the reason I'm looking towards the rain radar is it's about now the rain normally comes in, and we're normally in the pits for just as it gets dark, with it just starting to rain. Now the rain is sort of similar in every race, but it's not always identical. Somebody said to me last night on a comment, it'd be great to see you get a no rain race, because they do happen. So excuse me, Mr. Fraga's gone to the pits on his soft tyres, so that leaves Beauvoir to take the field, take the mantle. We've just knocked in the fastest lap at 2:14.936. That's pretty epic. Four seconds down to Mr. Beauvoir as we change up to 5th gear. There's just starting to see the lights coming on at the end of the straight there. Our headlights are now illuminating the rear of Mr. Beauvoir. Still no rain on the radar, nothing. Tyres look like they're taking all the wear. Zero rain expected. 15 minutes almost into the race. We're still pumping in those lap times. We've made our way from 20th place to 2nd. We're virtually down to half the fuel tank now. 7 laps almost done. Mr. Beauvoir just about to start to feel the pain. See those exhausts kicking out those blue flames. Absolutely stunning on the overrun. I'd love to stay behind him and watch, but oh, we pick up another bit of damage as he backs out of it as he comes out the corner. It's filthy dirty tactics. Total respect for Mr. Beauvoir. We should be more aware of that. Blue flames again kicking out of the back of that Mercedes. He goes to the pits. There is rain coming in, top left hand corner. say, we are half a tank of gas. We don't have to stop at all. We're only 1.6 seconds ahead of Beauvoir at the point he's in the pits. Portilla goes to the pits. We're just going to keep the power down and keep charging. So this is lap 8. Hizal is 10.7 seconds behind us. There's a very thin band of rain coming across the screen that looks like it's going to just sweep across the track in maybe 50 miles time, depending on the wind speed. 4.5 meters per second. 4.5 meters per second, what's that in miles an hour? I couldn't tell you. 60 times 4, 240 meters per minute. It's not particularly fast, is it? But with the time speed times 24, it's only going to be a lap before that little rain bank is going to sweep across the track and across the nose of the car. But we've got to try and drive through it, just ignore it. It's not going to be a great consequence. Maybe this is that one race where the rain isn't that significant. Give us the chance to really pummel in a real race of maybe 26 laps would be good. 25 is the record so far. And the fastest lap of the race at 2:14.570. We really have taken the aggression out of this car by using the magic 555. And the rain is about to be on us now. We'll probably see and feel it as it comes across the track. It's halfway across us. But no feeling, no knowledge, no sense that it's come past at all. So it's just clouds, no downpour. We might get an undisturbed night drive then. What we do know is that the track temperature has dropped with the night time. The front tyres are not really wearing, although we've got much more downforce on the front. The rears are starting to show a little bit of scrub, but not a massive amount. They're clearly going to go all the way to the end of these tyres. I wonder if we're going to be maybe lapping somebody before we need to pit for tyres or fuel. I think we'll be needing to pit for fuel, to be honest. Concentrate as we come around the corner. Potentially another fastest lap to be set here. A 2:14.2. There we go. Chalks it up as we go on to lap 10. "27 seconds ahead of Mr. Hizal now. 20 minutes of the race gone. There's a possibility here of a one-stop if not affected by rain. Mr. Hazal goes to the pits on mediums with 9% of fuel remaining. So that means Mr. Fraga, who stopped for a set of tyres just that little bit earlier on the softs, is going to make his way back into second place, having fought back through the traffic. A little bit of brake and throttle together there just to get us around that corner. So Mr. Fraga in second place, 47 seconds down, which will be the time of his pit stop approximately. If we were to pit now, would we come out in front of him? That would be the question. Almost 50 seconds ahead of second place now. Really making a good rattle through here as the fuel level drops to just 25% at the end of lap 10, which will probably give us in the region of maybe the 13th lap will be where we pull into the pits. A 2:14.074 fastest lap, almost into the 13th, which will put it in with the fastest cars in the race so far. Rain, bottom left hand corner, we can just see it coming in. As the cloud bank disappeared to the right, we have a new bank, and this one looks to be more ominous, more imposing, more threatening. And it'll be in perfect timing for whatever's going to come here. We're just going to have to study this rain and see what it's going to do as we arrive at the back of the first back marker. Of course, these back markers might be offset by pit stops as we're in the pit stop phase. Mr. Ordonez in the same car as I'm using for the league race this season. We'll be back in the Nissans tomorrow night. As we go to Seaside. No, it's not Seaside, it's Gardens, isn't it, tomorrow? So as we come charging back down the back straight again to the final chicane, the rain is looking really engrossing and ominous. It looks like it's dotted with some real heavy stuff. Let's just look at the fuel map. We've got 2.5 laps left, so we can go a little bit longer before we have to stop for fuel. The idea is that we make the right decision at the right time and only pit once. I'd say we've marginally done 50 miles probably since the start of the race. 25 minutes gone now. And yes, there looks like fairly moderate rain approaching. We'll have to balance that out. We're probably going to do a lap in the rain before we need to change. We'll just have to... You can see how much there the weight loss of fuel really makes a difference. 0.334 of a second up on lap 12. Is that the Porsche of Inestrosa in front of us? It looks like the rain is going to be upon us anytime soon. So if the rain is coming, do we need to pit this lap? It is Inestrosa. Or do we need to, can we give it one more lap and then come in? And then the question is, what tyres do we take? Is it inters? Is it the full wets? Do we stay on hards? Is there going to be that much rain? I can't see any yellow stuff, but I definitely think we're going to do another lap before the big heavy stuff hits. So there is some slight green in there, isn't there? So there is some big stuff on the way. I think we should do that one more lap, and we'll start to get an indicator from the guys what we're going to get. We don't get rain until the 33rd minute. Sorry, that's not true. The 27th minute, as it starts to rain now. Do we see any fastest lap of the race? A 2:13.313 on lap 12. This is lap 13. Mr. Fraga now drops to a minute back, and the rain bank is almost a nothing. It's just 75 miles of rain passing over the top. That'll be across us in 6 minutes. Are we going to get the heavy stuff? Can we go into the pits and take fuel, come out again on the hard tyres and emit the rain? Will that be the perfect pit stop strategy? It hasn't really started to rain yet. There's no rain depth on the track. We've got Yamanaka and Solis here just fighting it out. We go wide and deep. Come back on the inside of Yamanaka. The tyres are holding perfectly. There's absolutely no need to pit stop and take those tyres away. Here's the rain now. It's just starting to come. Just starting to see the negative effects of the rain. Just a little bit of slide. And it backs away as soon as it came, look. No significant rainfall. I think we're good to keep these tyres. I think we're good to make the pit stop on this lap. There we go, 0.7 left of fuel. It's almost the perfect run. No incidents, no accidents, just 0.7 laps of fuel. Let's take to the pits this time round, just as we get another splattering of rain. Almost 30 minutes. We're not changing tyres. We're going to take all the fuel. Somewhat of a risk, maybe, maybe not. Itchy nose. Ooh, it's this microphone. I've got to get a furry cover for this. Take it away from tickling my nose. Oh. And here goes the fuel in. We can't see the rain gauge, but we can see the rain continuing to fall. So I'm a little bit nervous about what we're doing. We're now on to lap 14. 1 minute 13 ahead of Fraga. It's going to be a little wet as we come out of the pits. I think the guys that we overtook in the lap, yeah, the water is just a little bit deep for the race tyres. Intermediates are probably the primary tyre right now, but let's get it back onto the rain gauge. There it is. We're out of the rain, so wherever it is wet, Mr. Fraga's gone to the pits. We'll get an understanding of what he's going to do any minute. where that wet line is, it's going to dry out very soon, and these tyres will come back to the fore. Beauvoir's gone in. There's a chance we could get 27 laps here. It would work beautifully for 27. Let's just make sure we keep it on the track. Let's not overrun. We need the wind to pick up, which it is doing it. The wind's now up to 5.3 meters per second. Track water depth is just starting to drop away. And the runners and riders are just going through the pit stop process. They're all making their second stop. All making it together, but I'm not seeing anybody take any other tyre. I'm just seeing them keep the tyres that they've got. No, I saw somebody go to Inters there. Beauvoir went to Inters. Well, he's going to be back in very soon. He wasn't looking at the rain, was he? And here we go, back up to the pack. Mr. Mendoza going into the pits. Looks like Mr. Bishop then straight ahead of us here. So we're over halfway through the race now. Charging back down Eau Rouge again. There's some yellow cloud forming in that cloud now that's gone past us. The worst of the weather is appearing. Kawakami makes his way out of the pit, but we keep to the dry line. There's definitely a dry line formed now. It's a little bit wetter down here. They are getting blue flags. They are being told to move. Running very different lines because they're trying to keep to what's good for their tyres. I think the majority of them are going to be on Inters. Miss McEwen's car making those beautiful blue flames, very reminiscent of the AMG that we saw earlier. She's definitely running groove tyres for the intermediates. You could see that as the tyres were spinning. You could see the tread. Portilla's gone to the pits. Fraga's gone to the pits on softs. What's he choosing to do? The rain is just disappearing off to the right hand side of the screen now. Why would Fraga have gone back in on the softs? What's he choosing to do? Is he just changing tyres? Thing about this for me is we might not have to pit again, but I'm pretty sure it's going to rain again. We can see the cloud cover picking up. We can see the midnight sky coming through. It's a beautiful clear night. The stars are out. Fraga 100% of fuel. Just watch him, watch him, watch him. What's he going to take? He's on the softs as Grady goes in. Fraga goes to intermediates. That feels very unnecessary. Grady went to the pit, so we're lapped up to 6th place. Grady's gone in on the softs again. He's probably going to take intermediates, but why would they be pitting on the Inters right now? Does not feel appropriate. 25 minutes remaining. We're chasing down the front 5 cars. We know they're not that far ahead. Purely because there were some guys in the pits. These tyres are wearing brilliantly. It's the same set of tyres we started the race with. And that looks like dawn. It looks like the sun is rising in the east. Over to our right hand side. That last lap was 6 seconds slower than our normal average lap time. The track is still wet, so we're just going to try and keep pushing as much as we can, but knowing that ideally we want to keep it on the track, so let's not overly push. And there's the sunrise. It's starting to come around. If you were ever doing a 24-hour race, and this was your stint where the sun came up, you've got to prepare yourself for it to go from fairly chilly to extremely warm. It will start to warm up and there'll be a hot day. So Beauvoir's gone to the pits on Inters. Ahead of us looks like Fraga maybe. Or is that Hizal? No, that's Hizal, isn't it? That was me thinking that we'd made a bit of a leap, but Beauvoir is definitely in the pits. He's filled up by the looks of it to 99%. Is he taking the intermediates off? McEwen's gone on the intermediates at 59%. Hizal slowed down as he came over the crest there. So that means we're now chasing Fraga in third. Still some heavy clouds over this part of the track, isn't there? They're definitely here, but there's no rain above. There's no rain on the radar. There's definitely a dark cloud presence. Now what I have been asked to do is make sure I let you people know whether I think this is a easy car to drive or whether it's something for the experienced. In all honesty, folks, I don't think I need to tell you that. All of these cars are relatively easy to drive. You can see the setup choices I've made with settings. So I've used counter steer. I've got no other help aids on other than traction control 1. If you don't like this car because it's too complex, just turn up that traction control. Just give yourself that little bit of confidence. The counter steer helps massively. But if there is a car that I do think is a challenge to drive, because there's been a couple here, that the second car we used at this race was a bit of a challenge, but I chose not to use traction control when it rained. So we got rain coming in from the left hand side now. It's coming in from the west. The sun is rising in the east, so it's coming up from the south end of the track. Fraga and Hizal both go to the pits. Who's that? It looks like Rubilar, yes, so they're getting lapped for the second time. We're 2 minutes 4 seconds ahead of Portilla, the Viper. Now, is this going to force us into a tyre change again? Is this going to force us to pit, or are we going to be good? The guys are still sticking to the Inters. They are still staying with the Inters for whatever reason. The track is now virtually dry all the way round. But as you can see, folks, as I was talking about just before we were interrupted by the rain on its way, this car is really quite easy to drive. And I won't bring any absolute devil dogs to the track that you can't drive yourself. I normally sort all that out before you get to the process. Now, I will normally dumb down a car. The 555 Magic Diff setting will really make a car easy to drive. And if you see the 555, you know it's tame. Nothing really moves after the 555 magic diff. So again, we have another really quite thin band of rain. I don't intend to pit stop. I really don't. I'm going to try this as a one-stopper, single set of tyres, no change. Less than 20 minutes left of the race now. I believe we have got the juice, we have got the potion lotion, we have got the gas to get us to the end. Every one of these races is a sub-level 50 compliant car. We're not going to put any mods on that require level 50. I try not to do that in all honesty, unless I'm going for records or whether we're trying to chase PP or horsepower. Try and keep them all accessible to all, but it will say somewhere whether it's level 50 or not. Don't forget engine swaps, you don't have to be level 50, you just have to have the gift engine to be able to purchase engines. And there's Mr. Portilla, look, who's in second place. We're about to lap him. If it rains, will he go to the pit to take a set of inters, or is he already on the inters? He's thoroughly frustrated that he's getting lapped already, isn't he? So that rain is on us now, it's just starting to come. Track's starting to get wet. We're going to deal with this exactly the same as we did last time. We're just going to back it off just a little way and we're going to drive our way through it. If we have to, we'll just adjust traction control. At this point, I don't think we really need to. Any immediate heavy rain has just backed away. Mr. Inestrosa with his rain light flashing on the back of the car. We're over halfway through the middle of this little summer downpour. Mr. Inestrosa gracefully gives up the track limits. He says, "It's yours, Mr. Widdowmaker, you take it." As two more cars come out of the pit, we come charging up the hill. We might get a penalty, we might have overclipped that. We shouldn't have. We did. That's a blotch on the old clean record, isn't it? 1 second we'll give up. But this is lap 20 with 15 minutes to go. We could be setting a new race record here with this car. There's no more rain coming. So what we're going to do now is we're going to really start to push to the end of the race to try and get 26 or 27 laps if possible. I'd like 26 if we can. 26 would be the new benchmark. We've just been running slightly slower laps, but on target with where we need to be. And I mean running slower laps since the pit stop because we put the fuel weight back in the car. So the track was wet, but it's going to start to dry out a little bit now as we just lifted round that corner a fraction to get the car to steer in. That 1 second penalty really slowed us down, but let's keep pushing. The track's drying now. So in the drying phase, we can get this car moving quite quickly. As we come closer to the end of the race, we're going to talk about how we're going to finish this race. We will not be stopping before the line because we're a lap ahead of everybody. We don't do that. We run a race to conclusion. If you're really serious about grinding and getting as much hour and time as you can out of the race, you can stop at the line if you're this far ahead. The only issue with that is it's still going to take you about 35 seconds to get the race on again. I only normally do one hour session a day. If we can do more than that, it's good, but we also have other bits and pieces to do. The sun hasn't yet come back. We've still got a very quite cloudy day with cool temperatures. Less than 15 seconds remaining. Portilla's gone to the pits. Fraga's gone to the pits. They continue to keep going in the pits to pay attention to their pit crew, keeping them warm, keeping them awake. We're just going to keep thrashing ourselves around the track. Portilla and Fraga's been parked there a while. Fully understand what he's in for. How come Fraga hasn't lost those places of the rest? He is now. He only took a splash, but he still hasn't gone anywhere. So, oh, we clipped a pin, didn't we? There, that was never good. Too busy watching what's happening with Fraga. Fraga's gone back to the track now, 5th place. As the rain now disappears off the radar, 12 minutes remaining of the race. Still hoping to get to the end of the race without pit stopping that one more time. Coming to the end of lap 21, we're going to go on to lap 22. We need to see 5 laps on the fuel gauge. It's 5.6. That's probably just going to be enough for us unless we go fuel map low. Fuel map number 6 for the very last lap. 5 laps is 11 minutes. That would take us to lap 27. That was an absolutely gut-busting overtake. That was just mind-blowingly quick. I can't believe that overtake took place without a crash. I don't know how I managed to negotiate through there. That was ridiculous. Mr. Gallo last place on the track. That's a shame. That's something you don't see often. Mr. Gallo at the back. There he is. Mr. Portilla pits again, intermediates. Is he going to give up the position now to Beauvoir, or is Beauvoir on inters? There's some real excessive pit stopping going on by these teams when, yeah, Beauvoir's gone back to 2nd place. Great drive by Mr. Beauvoir. Mr. Fraga back into the pits again for another take us off another set of inters, back down to 66%. The track is dry. So Miazano now makes his way up to 3rd place. Miazano in 4th place, Wilk up to 5th, Solis into 6th, Kawakami 7th, Yamanaka 8th. Nine minutes and 40 seconds remaining. We're on lap 23. See if we can short shift our way for a little bit. See if we can stretch that fuel to another lap. Out of the pits comes Mr. Rubilar. We pass him again. He hasn't made any progress since we last saw him. The short shift is really working with this car, isn't it? Look, holding at 5,000 RPM. There was the reason we kept that fuel, the gearing long. As we just come up to 200 miles in this car. I think we have used this before. I think we used it at Sardinia or Le Mans maybe in a previous race. Eight minutes remaining, just over 8 minutes 23. Absolutely superb little car, this one. Weather was fortunate for us. Really was perfect weather. Not a lot of rain. I was told we'd see a no rain race. Mr. Fraga after many pit stops. We didn't really want to allow him to let us pummel his rear end if he chose to brake, but he's no longer in the top 10, Mr. Fraga. He's got to make some progress as the sun finally breaks through. Probably into the last hour of the day almost. So we're going to finish the day as it started. Nice and dry. I think we're going to just struggle on that last lap for fuel, so might just pop a fuel gauge down one. Three laps will take us 6 minutes 45. Yeah, I think we'll just roll that last lap, which will make it 27, which would be tremendous. Come on, Mr. Grady. Don't race the race leader. We want to get across to the finish line about 4 minutes 30. And we're good for fuel. Gotta pop it back to there. A minute from here, I think we're good. I just don't know what lap it'll be. It'll be lap 26, I think. Back to fuel map. 50 seconds to go to get to the line. I think we're good at this point. Yes, we need 3 laps of fuel remaining to get round. I think we're going to do it at this point. So Mr. Beauvoir still managing second place, Portilla third, Mirzano fourth, Mr. Wilk in fifth, Mr. Yamanaka in sixth. Sorry, Yamanaka in fifth, Wilk in sixth, Solis in seventh, and Grady in eighth. And the reason that confusion all happened was I was then thinking about other things as I was talking, and my brain took over my mouth. So what I was going to say is, this car is an absolute bomb. It's a great drive. Tyre wear is exceptional. Really good on tyres. The downforce is absolutely brilliant. It could probably do with a tweak more at the front just to give it a grip. But it's easy to manage. You just hover off the throttle, use the brakes to get the car around the corner. It turns on the brakes beautifully. You can see the counter steer working down the bottom there. That's helping tremendously, but this is the same set of tyres that we started the race with. And all you have to have is the perfect weather conditions. And we were lucky today. This doesn't detract from this car. It drove the wet really, really well. And as you saw, intermediates were the primary tyre at certain points of the race. You don't understand that. There's a rain gauge just beneath me here. Mr. Beauvoir now comes in. He's out of fuel. Oh, that could be Mr. Portilla's opportunity to get back to the front. That rain gauge is beneath us here, and there's 3 lines on it. And the first line suggests that the water is X depth, and at that point the race tyres are no longer suitable. You need to be on the intermediates. At the second line, which is just above halfway, that suggests that the water is of X depth and that you need to use wet tyres, the full race tyres. Intermediates are no longer going to be the optimal tyre. As the rain gets deeper and deeper, you've just got to then decide what you're going to use. As the track dries out, it's the reverse process. So this car absolutely managed on the race tyres to be beautifully poised and positioned for hard tyres, even in the wet. And the worst that it threw us, the weather is back beautiful. The tyres are not shredding. Portilla has gone back to second place. Miazano is in third. Wilk has gone up to fourth. Beauvoir has now dropped to fifth. Fraga's made his way back up the field into sixth place. Yamanaka's in seventh. Kawakami's in eighth. We're going to try and get round to the end of this lap. We've got 1 minute 50 seconds to get round as we're coming to lap Mr. Wilk for the second time. We're just making ourselves stretch that fuel to get us all the way to the end. And if we can catch Miazano and Portilla, which I think that might be Miazano ahead of us. It could be Hizal. Looking at the car, it isn't. It's Miazano, so we're going to lap third place for the second time. We just gave him a little nudge to say hello. So where is Portilla while all this is going on? We've got a minute to make it to the back to the line, and we'll be on lap 27, which will be a tremendous result. Go back to fuel map 1. It doesn't matter if we run out on the last lap. We've got 48 seconds to make it to the line. We've done that. An absolute dream. What a great car. Drivable by everybody with the right conditions, one would say. We've not had torrential rain. Even though there was a 2:16 there, that's still a decent lap. 30 seconds left of the race. We could have sat and waited for the flag to drop. We would have never got on the 27th lap. Miazano went to the pits, handing it back to Portilla and Wilk. Wilk's up to third place. We're just looking for Portilla to see if we can get him lapped again. And he is there. That'll be Portilla straight ahead of us, one would have thought. Is it the Viper? It looks like it. Seventh place has now made it to the pits, made it to the flag. Nobody else is going to progress any further. Any car that's following us is going to potentially just unlap itself if we don't make it. But if that is that Portilla just in front of us? Are we going to get to lap everybody twice? He's away, look. It is. It looks like the Viper. It's the Viper shape. It's the Viper colour. 27 laps. I don't want to have to fly the bus stop chicane at the end of the lap just to try and get the lap in, but we're going to try. Got half a lap left of fuel. We've got this. We've got this. We're going to go fastest lap on the last lap of the race as well. Look, we're purple. Will this be a 2:12 or just a 2:13.2? Are we going to get him? Are we going to get him? Are we? Is he going to break? Yes, he is. We're going to go around the outside. Just sneaked him. Absolute trooper. We got 0.2 of a lap. We're looking for the fastest lap of the race on the last lap. It's a 2:13.0. We did it. Fastest lap of the race. We lapped everybody twice. Genuinely. One stop on hards, no tyre change. We've never done that before. What a stunning little car with broken headlights. Both broken headlights. What an absolute stunning race. I never expected that. So there it is. The Peugeot 908 HDI Fap 10 completes the race in 1 hour, 1 minute 39. 2 laps ahead of everybody else. The fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 13.031 on lap 27. And we've never had 27 laps in this little series before. And as you can see there, lapping Ordonez in last place 4 times. We've lapped Lopez in 14th place 3 times. Lapped Rubilar in position 18th on 4 laps. Absolutely great car. And that should be 20 million for that. That was a tremendous result. Clean race bonus, of course, 1.5 million. Accelerates our banking position. And a great race. And a 4-star roulette ticket just to make your day. And I do hope you enjoyed that one, folks. That, for me, was a tremendous little car. Feel free to let us know how you did. And we'll see you on the next one. All the best, folks. Take care. Goodbye for now.